apologise to those of you who heard some of what I've got to say, and some of what I've got to say has already been said in a different form this afternoon. But I know there are some new members here this afternoon who may not have heard all of this, and certainly not from this horse's mouth. Just before we start, if you, sir, are one of my constituents and you want to get in touch with my office and I can help you to find employment, I will. If you're not one of my constituents, get in touch with Craig McKinley, and I know he'll do his best to help you. That's it. So where are we at? We've heard from Tony. The inspector's report was important. It was significant. I said at the time that if it went against us, I didn't think it would, given the quality of what was risibly known as evidence coming from the other side. But if it did go against us, then I said it wasn't going to be the beginning of the end for Manston Airport. So it would be perverse of me now to say, oh, it was a terribly important decision. But actually, what was important was the thinking, as Tony had said, behind the decision. The reliance on the existing local plan, which designates Manston very clearly as an airport and nothing else. And as important, in my view, is the fact that the proposal complies, the river proposals comply with national aviation policy in a way that nothing else does. That is very significant to me as a politician, because one of the things that I have to do in your interest is to back for the national interest. I believe that Manston, I've always believed this, that Manston is of national significance, and that is why it's being accepted for consideration under the development consent law process. That is only for significant national infrastructure. It's not for, a new lavatory in Cliftonville or something like that. So that is significant. And I can't see that the same planning inspectorate that has rejected these 4 applications for change of use on the grounds that Manston is of significance as an airport can then say that there is not a case. That case has to stack up, which is why River Oak have been doing this enormous amount of environmental impact assessment. Biggest assessment that's been undertaken in fact for years and years and years. And it is really significant. A huge amount of time, money, effort has gone into it. That's one bit of the package, but that had to be done. It was delayed, as we know, because of access to the site. But that work is pretty much now complete. A bit more to be done, but not a lot. It's got to be written up. As Tony has told you, the whole package hopefully will be presented, I was hoping by the middle of September, but I'm now told October. Okay, we'll accept that slippage. In tandem with that has to go all the other stuff, so the business plan, which then becomes public. These people, Councillor Welton, they don't have any money. Well, by the time they've got to the DCO stage, there will have been the best part of £5 million spent. I'm sorry, the company doesn't spend 5 million pence if they don't believe they've got a serious project. It's not worth the investors' while. And I've met the investors, the big investors, and I'm satisfied that they know what they're doing, why they want to do it, and that they've got the money to turn this airport on our doorstep from something that is relatively minor at the moment into a significant, state-of-the-art international freight airport, and then a modest but significant passenger operation. That is absolutely vital to the future of UK Limited. The question was raised, what are we losing to, I think Frankfurt was mentioned, but Schiphol and Charles de Gaulle and even Dubai as well. But stuff is being landed on the continent because there's no, on the mainland Europe, because there is no space here. And then freighted through the tunnel, across the ferries, and onto our roads. Well, this is the same freight we're trying to bring back. So when people say, well, hang on a minute, what about the roads? Yes, there will be more use of the roads. But a lot of that stuff is using our roads already. The difference is it's landing in Europe. And a lot of the added value is being handled there. And then it's being trundled through the tunnel. We want it to land at Manston. In terms of Brexit, and that's going to happen, whether you like it or not, whether you voted for it or not, I didn't, is immaterial. Brexit is going to happen. That means we have got to establish, in the interest of UK limited markets, in South America, in Africa, in Asia, and in the Far East. And that stuff that's going out and that stuff that's coming in has got to go by some route. And we're desperately short already, as I've indicated, of runway capacity, particularly in the southeast, where, as Sally told you, 3/4 of the freight is coming in. We're going to need Manston. We actually need it now. We're losing business now, never mind in 10 or 15 years' time, when a new runway at Heathrow might or might not come on stream. We really need this now. 2 years' time, we'll be out of the European Union. We have to be ready to seize those markets, to trade, to win the prosperity that we need for the country. And Manston is a key part of that. There is nowhere else in the southeast that has this facility, that has this long runway. So if we can take that, what is now a brownfield site, and turn it into a state-of-the-art international freight airport, then we will not just be doing the local economy good, we'll be doing the national economy good. And that's got to be in everybody's interest. You've heard about job creation potential, and I just want to underscore that. Students say, oh, only 4,000 jobs. And the opposition are pretending they're going to create thousands of jobs on that side. That's moonshine, that you managed to do it at Discovery Park, so I'm certainly not going to do it. Discovery Park's already there. And there's plenty of space there, by the way. The airport-related jobs are as significant, in fact probably more significant, than those that are actually on the airfield. We're looking at aviation-related industries all around the airfield. We're looking at training. We're looking at all those people, all those businesses that will service the airport for a start, and then of course all of those other businesses that will grow in the area to use the facilities that are at the airport, to fly their goods in and out, because the airport itself becomes a magnet. And if you've got not one hard standing, which can take one plane at a time and turn it round and then you send another one in, which is what's at Manston at the moment. If you've got 9, and then possibly another 9, then your capacity is so much greater. Your economic viability is so much greater. The contribution we can make at Manston to the whole economy is so much greater. And it is a wonderful opportunity, in my view. And it's a one-off opportunity, because once it's built on, you can't be back again. So this is our one and only chance, in my view, to retrieve and recreate the facility that we need for the local economy and for the nation. There has been mischief. There will always be mischief around a project like this. I've heard, he says, playing straight to the camera, that there is one recent local resident who has been trying to sell stories to newspapers and make up stories to newspapers. Well, you know who you are, and I know who you are, and the laws of libel apply. But the other stories that mill around that I particularly have to deal with. I represent constituents in Herne Bay. They live on the flight, they live under the flight. Some of them will tell you living in the cold, you know, that on a bad night you can reach up and touch the wheels of the plane coming in. And up to a point that's almost true, and I have to have sympathy with those people, I represent them. But where I part company with them is when they say there are going to be all these old, dirty, noisy aircraft. No, they're not. Those planes are gone for good, thank God. And there is a newer, quieter, better generation of aircraft that will be landing at Manston within 2 or 3 years. The other thing is that they won't fly at night. There is no requirement. This is a myth that has been generated for very obvious reasons. This is the big scare story. Now look, part of this application, the DCO, is going to be a Section 106 agreement. That has to spell out all sorts of things, one of which is night flights. Railroad have already made it absolutely publicly clear that they would be perfectly happy to have accepted the 106 agreement that was already in place in relation to night flying. Well, there will be a new one drawn up. That has to be presented as part of the application package. That will be the subject of public consultation. People will have the opportunity to make their views and their objections, if there are some, known, and the inspector has to reach a decision on that. So this is not underhand, undercover, night flights by the back door. A, they're not necessary, because the demand is for daytime handling, not nighttime handling. And B, it would get past the inspector anyway. So when you go out from here, knock those myths on the head. Because we are not going to let this stand in the way of something that is of vital importance, locally, and of vital importance nationally. Manston, I believe, and I really believe, will reopen. We need it, we want it, the country wants it, and we are going to